Hi, I'm Nick Weiss, and today we're going to be covering essential open chords for guitar. Open chords are chords that use open strings, which are opposed to bar chords, which use your finger barred across the entire guitar. For instance, here's an open A chord, which utilizes a couple open strings, and this is an A bar chord. They're the same chord, just different voicings. So open chords are extremely useful. And the chords that I'm going to go over today are chords that any guitar player should know to be able to easily communicate with other guitar players. You can literally play thousands, if not millions of tunes using these essential open chords, and they're great hand exercises for beginners as well. So you can find a chart of all these open chords on my website, nickweissmusic.com. Go to the guitar lessons page and scroll down and you will find an essential chords PDF. You can print that out or save it to your computer, do whatever you like, and it's absolutely free. How can you beat that, huh? And I'm going to assume that you know the names of the strings of your guitar. If you don't know that, learn it. There's any number of ways you can find that out. And if you have any further questions, feel free to contact me via my website. If you're in San Diego, we can do lessons in person, or I can do lessons anywhere else online using Skype. So let's get going. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, and I am aware that there are variations of some of these chords too. I might cover a couple of them, but before you get all YouTube nitpicky on me, I am fully well aware that there are many other variations of these chords. These are versions that I have used professionally for years and use every day in the studio and live. So let's get started here. The first chord on my chart is E. So we're going to start with that one. With your middle finger, second finger, you can put that on second fret of the A string. Third finger, second fret, D string, and first finger, first fret, G string. Push all three of those down, and strumming across all 6 strings, we get this sound. And here are the notes individually. That's the E major chord. When I say just the letter alone, that assumes major. So an E chord means E major. And it's good practice to try to get your fingers as close to the frets as possible. In some cases we can't. My middle finger, I can't cram it all the way up to that fret without hitting the E string, so I have to have it right around here. But get it as close as possible. Next chord is going to be E7. Basically the same thing as an E, just lift up your third finger, lift up your ring finger. So here is the chord all together, and here are the notes individually, and the E7 chord. Next we have E minor, which is pretty much the easiest of all chords. On my chart, I have it written with using second and third finger on second fret of the A and D strings. You can also use first and second finger. I use different versions of that depending on the context, so it depends what chords I'm switching to and from. But either one is a very valid variation. So here's the chord all together, and here are the notes individually. Next we have A major. For the A family of chords, we are going to skip the low E string. All right? It's not a crime to hit the E string every once in a while. It's not even a wrong note per se, but it can muddy things up. So I try to avoid it when at all possible. Here is the A chord. With your first, second, and third finger, you put them across the second fret of the D, G, and B strings. And here are the notes individually played. Again, we're skipping the low E string, so you're only hearing 5 strings in that chord. Here is the A7. Essentially, you do the same thing, just lift up your middle finger. And here is the chord all together. And here are the notes played individually. Next we have A minor. It's exactly the same shape as an E chord, except shifted down one string. All right, so here's your A minor chord, again skipping the low E string. And here it is individually played. All right, next we're going to go into the D family of chords. In the D family, we're going to skip the E and the A string. So we're going to start at the D string, or fourth string. For the D chord, you put your first finger, second fret of the G string, second finger, second fret of the E string, and third finger, third fret of the B string. Kind of makes a V or triangle shape right there. That's the D chord, and here are the notes individually. D7 is essentially that chord just upside down. So we make an upside down triangle now. Second finger, second fret, G string. First finger, first fret, B string. Third finger, second fret, high E string. Again, skipping the E and A strings. And here are the notes individually. And now D minor. D minor is second finger, second fret, G, third finger, third fret, B, first finger, first fret, high E. And individually played. C major is one that uses all four fingers. With your first finger, put it on the first fret of the B string. Second finger, second fret of the D string. Third finger, I put on the third fret of the low E string, and pinky, third fret of the A string. And here are the notes played individually. This is technically a C over G chord, but I use this in most cases when I come across a C chord because it's a very nice, bold voicing. Some people will not use the low E string, put your third finger on the third fret of the A string instead, and skip the low E string. I'll use that in more country and folk settings. The C7 chord, first finger, first fret of the B string. Second finger, second fret of the D string. Third finger, third fret of the A string, pinky, third fret of the G string. For this chord, again, I skip the low E string. And here are the notes individually. G major. This one I play with middle finger, third fret of the low E string, first finger, second fret of the A string, skip the middle two strings, then we have third finger, third fret on B, pinky, third fret on high E. Individually. A very common variation is to not use any finger on the B string, using either your pinky or your third finger on the high E string. That creates kind of more of a country or folk sound. G7 is played with third finger on the low E string, third fret, second finger, second fret A string, skip the next three strings, and then first finger on the high E string. And here we go. And finally, the B7 chord. Second finger, second fret A, first finger, first fret D, third finger, second fret G, pinky, second fret E. Skip the low E string. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Nick Weiss.